Hey everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. Wow, what an afternoon we are having. It is 2045 UTC, so we got the market closing in 3 hours, and we are fully in complete crypto meltdown right now. It is insane. There are times when you can see kind of trends and different things, but man, what a black swan event this is. Just completely out of the blue. Nobody 2 days ago even thought that FTX would implode and be saved by Binance, and what a fallout we're experiencing. The chart we're looking at right now is FTX token, FTT. And as you can see, it held above, for some reason, $22 was some kind of a critical number for them. And when that broke, it just fell into chaos. And I think what's happened, by the way, I wasn't planning on doing a video today because I did a video podcast this morning, and I put a link to that in the, I just put it as a post on YouTube, and I tweeted it, so you can find that if you'd like. But yeah, this is unbelievable. We're down. This particular coin is down 78 to 79%, and things are really unraveling. If I go to the 5-minute chart, there was, the break of 22 caused kind of a cascading effect, and I'm not entirely sure what is going on behind that. But right here, this was when the announcement for Binance being saved, or Binance coming in and buying FTX, which even that isn't a guarantee because there's due diligence, and if it turns out that FTX has overpromised in too many ways and their liabilities are just so astronomical, then they may pull back, which would cause quite a situation. So things are pretty ugly. Things are very, very ugly. If I head up to Bitcoin, I just put in where the announcement was right here. Didn't know I could copy and paste things into TradingView, so that's kind of cool. But this is what's happening. We've got 1 second till this bar closes. On the 5-minute chart, we finally have a close above the 20. That's kind of the first sign that things may begin to stabilize. Let me just delete this really quick. As you can see at the announcement, Bitcoin actually went all the way up to 20,600. And now, or since then, it's just been a complete bloodbath. And I'm not entirely sure. I feel like it's an overreaction, because oftentimes, if you think about it realistically, unless FTX or the customers were completely panic selling and trying to convert into dollars, that would be the only reason for a sell-off. What I think is happening is I think that there are some whales, people that are looking to accumulate, and they saw an opportunity and they took it. Let me tell you how markets bottom. I'm going to show you a couple of examples. So markets bottom almost 99 out of 100 times with a giant selling climax. This cascading drop ended with a long tail. So we had a candle that had a very, very long tail. This was this climax, and we finally kind of recovered from that. And this kind of supported us through the rest of the last couple of months, 3 or 4 months, 5 months, that we've kind of been sort of recovering from this downside here. And I've been saying all along that the fear has been washed out of the market. I don't think new buyers, I think all the new buyers buy during hype phases. I think the buyers came in over here and in over here, and it was these flush outs that scared out those buyers. And we've had plenty of fake outs to even trick pretty seasoned investors out of their position. And so I just didn't believe that there was much fear left in the market, and I still don't. I kind of feel like this is a manufactured, I just don't think that there is fundamentally people in FTX camp or investors or anyone associated with that thing that had a financial benefit, or they had a necessity to sell, to get out of a position, to run to cash, to do something. Because by the time it was too late, like by the time there was a resolution, prices went up. So this feels like a fake out setup for a whale distribution event. So I think there are some large players that wanted to push prices down and kind of get things through and get one final flush out before moving upwards. This is a bottoming candle. It's pure fear, it's pure emotion, and if we get a long wick on this, it will be a very, very strong statement that the bottom is in. So let's go look at some other examples and see if this would make sense. So the COVID crash is a beautiful example. So we had this massive candle, and the thing wrong with this day, so the big red candle, the problem with it is that we closed so close to the end. Because we closed the close was so close to the bottom, you could just sense that the fear hadn't been flushed out. And so that's why the next day we had this long tail, but then it became green. And this establishes a bottom because there's so much fear and emotion, and anyone who's even close to the fence, plus all of the liquidations and everything else that happens, it all cascades through, and we find this nice long tail, which provides support, and then we climb out of it. So let's go look at another example. This bottom, this was one of the only ones that didn't have one. The only tail we had was this day, and we ended up getting a slightly lower one, and it was a doji. So this is not an example, but you'll notice that often, let me change charts here. Yeah, even then, even on a larger exchange back then, you just didn't see it in this case. But when there's a lot of fear, you get these long wicks, and usually you'll find them at the bottom. You'll see a lot of times that when markets hit their bottom, it's this long tail. So here's a perfect example in 2015. So we closed a little too close to our bottom. There was still some emotion left, and then it gave us one more day. So what's the best case scenario for today? The best case scenario for today is we've got to get as far away from our bottom as possible. If we close down anywhere close to here, this move's not over. So this is a pretty scary day. It's been a super emotional day for everybody. The first step in getting out of a spike like this, though, is getting above the 20 and having a moment to switch sides. The challenge that we're facing is that we still have 3 hours left. So it's a complete dice roll. Even on the 5-minute chart, if we get support above the 20 and we have a little bit of support, that, you know, we've got a lot of time left. We have all the way till here. So there's plenty of time to have kind of a relief rally of some kind and still fall back in. So we're definitely not out of the woods, but I figured, you know, we can at least get on here and talk about where we're at and what's going on. From a structure standpoint, we are below our trading range. The only positive that's even in here is that our descending triangle was officially confirmed once more. This exit of the descending triangle, if it provides support, that would be helpful. If we find support off of the bottom here, that will be helpful. If we just continue doing a sideways consolidation, that's fine. The other example that's worth looking at is the way we behaved back in 2015. So I'm going to just keep our current chart up, and then I'm going to go look back in 2015, and I want to kind of show you, 1 second here. Okay, so when we bottomed in 2019, we kind of hit our bottom, and then we kind of bounced a little bit. We kind of did come back to another bottom, but see, this kind of move is more reminiscent of this move here. And then we were slowly moving up, and we found a show of strength quite a lot earlier. And I was thinking this was it, but here now we're dropping back again. So this is not the scenario that we're experiencing. This scenario that we're experiencing is more like this. So here we had our selling climax. So selling climax here. Then we had this period of time where we kind of went up and went down and kind of found a baseline. And this up and down and baseline happened here. The one difference is we got a little bit more upside. So we had a bit of a rally. And this is exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting that this would be the case. But even then, we're still nearing the end of the bottom, and we had one more selling climax. It took the second selling climax to actually move us on to the next phases of the cycle. So we experienced this back in June, and now we're doing a sideways consolidation, trying to find our footing. Our averages are coming back in. They certainly were before today, but here we've had kind of a second fallout, and it looks like that is what we're currently experiencing. So if we get a second fallout out of our system, it really comes down to what happens tomorrow, because if we project weakness tomorrow, you can see how we have a selling climax, a kind of a weak sideways thing, and then another selling climax, and a weak recovery, a weak response. And it's not until we get the selling climax with a strong response that it kind of sells the market on, okay, we've done it. We've finally got there. So a lot of what we have to look forward to once we finally get our close in 3 hours is we have to see a pretty decent showing tomorrow. And it's nerve-wracking because, you know, we've all experienced a long bear market, and emotions are raw when you've kind of been in a red situation for more than a year. These things get really emotional, but I still feel like I don't know who else is selling. Like if the people that are worried or scared or still are bearish, I just feel like a lot of the retail or anyone that would add to an emotional response to this are mostly out. So I don't know who's still so scared that they're jumping ship. But we will find out if there's more in the system. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Bitcoin. Ethereum is very interesting because we did have this low, but it certainly was nothing close to our cycle low. So the whole formation of the Ethereum chart looks way, way healthier. And right now, we are climbing back to our 200-week moving average. So this would be a very interesting place to find strength. I kind of feel like just because of where Ethereum is at, I kind of feel like a lot of the worst is out of the system. Of course, I don't know, I mean, we can't tell the future when it comes to these things, but we can point to the strongest places where support should be. The 200-week moving average is as strong as a support as you could expect. And the action out there in the market with all of the coins moving, with people moving things to exchanges and away from exchanges and having such an emotional day, the results in Ethereum have been very interesting. Look at how our, well, it looks like we're currently at 104, okay, about 100 on our gas prices for Ethereum, but you can see how earlier we spiked all the way up to over 600 up in here. So we had some crazy fees in the middle of the selling climax. So you can really see these things in real time on the charts. Well, because of these higher fees, because everyone's trying to send coins and there's a lot of competition, we've had a ton of burning. And yeah, it's crazy. We're burning 3 Ethereum per minute over the last day on average. And we've burned 4,000 Ethereum just today. And you can see, look at this chart, it just drops off because there's so much action on Ethereum, moving coins and whatever. Literally within the next hour, we are probably going to see our supply negative from the merge. So that is definitely an interesting consequence of all of this. The other thing I was going to say, if I can find it, yeah, I just looked up FTX or FTT token on Etherscan, and you can see that where Alameda had shown $5 billion of exposure to FTT token, man, with an 80% markdown, that number is nowhere clear, nowhere close. So their liabilities are kind of being backed on something that absolutely is a figment of their imagination. And if you go to FTX Exchange's hot wallet address, so that would be this particular address, you can just see there's just an absolute exodus of coins leaving. The couple of interesting things is that there's really only 9,000 Ethereum. On Glassnode, I saw that the Bitcoin balances were down to 0, and that's why they halted withdrawals. About 6 or 8 hours ago, something before everything really took a head, and they reached out to Binance. But these are the values of the coins in the hot wallets. There's still a fair amount of coin here. There's some Pax Gold and $45 million worth of Tether and things like that. These belong to the users though. So this shouldn't, this should be made available for anyone that wants to withdraw. But yeah, you can see how intense it is. They've definitely enabled withdrawals again. So you can see just everything is out. Like they're just, all the transactions are out. It's pretty crazy. It's unfortunate to see this type of thing happen out there in the market. But yeah, as kind of an OG, I've been through a lot of bankruptcies. I've lost money on MTGOX and Cryptopia and Cryptsy, and I've lost a little bit everywhere because I have a certain amount that I like to keep on exchanges for trading and for messing around, and it's risky. You never know what what can happen. Something as strong as FTX, where they were bragging about being able to buy everything in this bear market, and suddenly they are absolutely belly up. So anyway, not a fun day, but I figured, let's just take it in the face and talk about everything and kind of see where we're at and kind of what to expect. After a day like this, it's not pretty. We don't, it really will depend on how the market reacts tomorrow. So first of all, we need to close this candle, and the higher we can get that, the better. So we've got 3 hours to try to find, to move as high as humanly possible. The higher we go, the better chance we have of making it out of that situation. If we close low, it's not going to be pretty. Tomorrow's going to be a rough one. But even if we close fairly high, we need to see a bit of a continuation by end of day tomorrow. But I mean, hopefully, if we can get this, this is a new cycle low. Like, in case you didn't see that, this selling climax, the low is 17,614, and we just had a day where our low is 17,082. So this low is now our new cycle low. We've never experienced that. Every time we've come down from a bear market, we've had a selling climax, and that was it. That was the end of the bear market. Then we had a sideways emotional but sideways consolidation, and then we gathered strength coming into the halving. So this is unbelievable. It really is amazing, because even when we had this selling climax here, the COVID crash didn't quite get us there either. Like we never looked back. Once we had our final sell-off, that was the bottom, and then we just moved on from there. So every cycle has a way of surprising you, and Bitcoin's full of surprises. But in my quarterback armchair position, I still believe that there's more upside than downside. I think that we're closer to the bottom than we are to the top. In fact, today could be the bottom. Like, this could be the day we look back for the foreseeable future, or for many years to come, and say this was this strange anomaly where Bitcoin bottomed 5 months after the selling climax. So, but I still feel like I think the bears are exhausted, that this is a kind of an anomaly. I think it's more manipulation than true investor sentiment. But we'll find out. That's just kind of what I interpret this as. But anyway, I hope everyone's staying safe and doing the best they can. We're going to have a pretty intense review tonight on the Pro channel, that's for sure. So anyway, I hope everyone does okay, and just remember that none of this is permanent. If some of this impacts you and you are having like kind of an emotional difficult time, get some help or whatnot. You don't, money can be very emotional for people, and it can create depression and even thoughts of suicide or something. And honestly, if those ideas come to your mind, please get help, because it's not as important. This money is secondary to the main point of living, which is life. And there's always better days ahead. These types of things don't last forever. So take a deep breath. Even if you lost the money. In fact, I had a few positions that got liquidated. I couldn't move liquidity in fast enough. So, we're all kind of getting beat up a little bit today, but it's just, things will get better. So anyway, we'll leave you there, and we'll catch up with everybody tomorrow. We'll see how things turn out. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.